morning edition, a massive earthquake rocks Russia. The quake so strong it damaged several structures off the country's Kamchatka Peninsula. It also triggered tsunami warnings.
All clear, like I said, has not happened. Has not happened yet. Just be a little safe for a little longer.
Hawaii on alert. The tsunami warning has been downgraded to an advisory, but strong currents along the coasts could still be a hazard. And later, Homer's own Silas Luke Jones strums his way into the spotlight on America's Got Talent. We'll see if his performance is enough to get 4 thumbs up as the morning edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up, joining us here on this Wednesday.
Yeah, some scary moments last night for the entire West Coast, parts of Hawaii. Aaron, what's the latest this morning?
Well, new details coming in this morning. The volcano right along the Kamchatka Peninsula, that has begun erupting following that magnitude 8.8 earthquake that did strike just off the coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula. And we've seen numerous aftershocks that have been occurring as well. And again, we did see the reports of that volcano that has begun to erupt, which I do believe is right around this area. I'll highlight that for the next hour. But as far as what we're dealing with in terms of the recent earthquakes, notice the amount of aftershocks that we have seen, as well as some additional earthquakes. And again, that did occur yesterday evening or yesterday late afternoon into the evening hours just offshore of that peninsula. We're still seeing some tsunami advisories through the Aleutians. It's from Anamak Pass to Attu, including the Pribilof Islands. And then as you head out towards parts of the Alaska Peninsula, or at least a sliver of the Alaska Peninsula, we are seeing the Pacific coast from Chignik Bay to Anamak Pass also again remaining up under that tsunami advisory. That's what we're seeing for a good portion of Alaska. Meanwhile, out towards the West Coast, we are still seeing some tsunami advisories with a slight area across northern parts of the California or Oregon border that continues to remain up under a tsunami warning. Now, latest information showing that the tsunami wave observations from across the state, we have seen the highest coming in at 2.7 out towards Nikolsky. You can see out towards Atka, we've seen 1.5 feet. Out towards Japan, they've seen over a foot of that tsunami as well. So we will still see some of those waters increasing. When it comes to that advisory, that means to stay out of the water and away from the shores. Those strong currents and dangerous waves will be in or near coastal waters. That's what we're continuing to see when it comes to that tsunami advisory. I'll have a look at what we're seeing when it comes to the weather across south central in the state and that 7-day forecast coming up.
We don't want anyone to let their guard down. We want it to go another couple hours. As the waves cycle smaller and smaller, that's how we know that we're ending this concern.
Well, that was Hawaii Governor Josh Green giving an update on the tsunami warning in the state. The very latest is that warning has now been downgraded to an advisory.
This all happened pretty quickly after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit off Russia's coast last night, one of the strongest quakes ever recorded and the highest magnitude since 2011. We begin with Jared Hill from New York.
In Honolulu, a scramble to seek higher ground. Waves crashed on empty beaches as warnings echoed.
The roads are full, people trying to move. We ask you to stay calm, cooperate, and get to high ground.
We decided to go to elevated ground, and it's kind of just where it's taken us so far. We've passed a couple other gas stations that you can't even get in them. Tsunami
warnings and alerts were issued from Hawaii to the entire west coast of the U.S. after an 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit off Russia. Officials warned waves could reach up to 10 feet, prompting boats in the Honolulu area to head out to sea. After night fell, there was isolated flooding and areas where the water had receded.
So far, we have not seen a wave of consequence, which is great relief to us.
Hours earlier, a tsunami more than a foot high was detected in over a dozen parts of Japan. Officials warned bigger waves are possible. Some people sought safety on the tops of buildings. The massive earthquake that triggered the waves shook furniture in far eastern Russia. Emergency responders rushed to a damaged kindergarten after the front of the building collapsed. No children were reportedly inside. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Lots of video coming in showing when the quake hit, including this footage of doctors performing surgery when it happened. Despite the danger, they remained calm and stayed with the patient until the end. At the moment, the patient is doing well.
And panic set in for some sea lions in Russia. The sudden movement triggered by that powerful quake, it sent them diving into the sea. It's a rare glimpse of how wildlife reacts when the earth shakes. In other news, the trial date for a suspended Anchorage attorney accused of cartel ties has been pushed back. Justin Facey now faces 2 new charges: possession of meth with a minor present and having a gun while trafficking drugs. Prosecutors say Facey ran drug operations out of his Anchorage home, acting on orders from a California prisoner already indicted for a double homicide. A judge delayed Facey's trial to December due to the volume of evidence. He remains in administrative segregation. The state says it's based on his classification.
Now to the latest from Tuesday night's Anchorage Assembly meeting, where members approved a new homeless shelter.
It will be located near downtown. Joe Allgood was there and has a recap of how the night went.
Nearly $20 million spread between 2 different contracts and a new homeless shelter in Anchorage, all on the table at Tuesday night's Assembly meeting. Those 2 contracts were ultimately awarded, establishing a new shelter and changing management of another. The first, coming in a little over $11 million, was awarded to MASH Property Management, LLC, a company owned by former mayor and U.S. Senator Mark Begich. A new shelter will be established across from Merrill Airport in a building that once housed a strip club and also a church. The approved contract was met with some opposition, in part due to the location of the new shelter.
I feel frustrated by the answers that I'm hearing from the administration tonight because it feels like they're trying to put us in a very narrow corner. This is the only thing that will work. We looked at these locations. No other locations will work. No other capacities will work. We can't do 50. So if we're saying that, our goal is to do these smaller scattered site, I guess we're locked in at 100 plus.
The other contract, with a maximum value of over $7.1 million, was given to Henning Incorporated, who already contract with the municipality for other shelter services. Henning will be taking over the already existing cold weather shelter on 56th Avenue at the end of August, since the current operator, Catholic Social Services, did not put in for a new contract. The shelter currently has around 200 beds, but the new contract is for 100 since the building is in need of repairs.
Because they're taking 100 offline at CWS and adding 100 somewhere else.
And it looks like we kind of came out of that story a little early. We'll have that in our next hour.
In other news, the Iron Dog is returning to Fairbanks this winter, and leaders from both the borough and the race itself are excited for the Fairbanks finish.
It's been 5 years since the race last concluded in the Golden Heart City, but borough leaders say it will add to the full complement of winter activities and events celebrated by residents.
Iron Dog Executive Director Rick Paquette says the return to Fairbanks will also take racers to new areas, which means more community interactions. He says the return to the interior was also much desired.
The decision has kind of been talked about the last few years. A lot of racers have been asking for it. And then our board ultimately decided that, this year would be a good year to go back up there. It's always been a really exciting atmosphere up there. And, I think a lot of the guys who have ran the race prior, really like going up there.
The race course is still being finalized, but in total will range nearly 2,500 miles.
A marine biologist is calling on boaters to slow down while sailing through areas with endangered species in them.
They've been pretty resistant to that. Neither the tanker owners nor the cruise ship owners have stepped up to that opportunity to run their businesses safer.
This comes as a bowhead whale has been spotted off the coast of Valdez. Bowhead whales are usually found in cold Arctic water, so seeing one so far south in the Gulf of Alaska gave researchers quite a shock. Steiner tells Alaska's news source that researchers believe this is a juvenile male who ventured out of its regular territory, either in search of food or just some new scenery.
So this is pretty historic, pretty unprecedented stuff. Bowheads generally, there's about 15,000 of them. They've recovered quite well from whaling days.
While bowhead whale numbers are increasing, this increases the risk of collisions in shipping lanes. And just last month, a humpback whale was spotted with injuries to its back, believed to be from a collision with a vessel.
Still ahead, planting with purpose. It's a shared space, but also a community garden.
The cooks are free to come out here and grab the tomatoes or cucumbers or zucchini or whatever else is growing out there and use that.
It's not only feeding the hands that grow it, but it's also giving back to those who need it most. Arctic Gardens is next.
Rain steadily building back in across South Central today. Will be cooler than the previous afternoons. I'll have more on that and how much rain we can expect to see. First, the sunrise, 5:25 in Anchorage, 4:46 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Well, good morning, everyone. We are going to just not wake the sleeping walruses there out on Round Island. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, look, they're all just sleeping, snuggling up with each other.
Enjoying each other's company. Aaron, good morning.
Kind of jealous. I'd give, those mornings where you just want to stay in bed. That's them this morning. They're like, I just...
Lazy day.
Got to wait till the sun rises before I get out in the water. Of course, we are waking up this morning to mostly cloudy to overcast skies. We are expecting to see some rain gradually building back in across South Central. 63 degrees is where we're currently sitting at. So a fairly mild morning. In fact, this may be one of the warmest mornings we've seen so far this year. 63 degrees again with those winds remaining light breeze to be expected. We've got those winds out of the south at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. That ridge still kind of holding its place out towards the Bering Sea and parts of southwest Alaska. You can see some passing showers building into northern parts of the Kuskokwim Delta. And then, of course, we've got most of the rain pushing out of the central interior out towards the Alaska range and eventually building right here in South Central. We are seeing some rain showers that's already occurring this morning. Most of that activity, though, really building into parts of the Susitna Valley. In fact, here over the next couple of hours, the locations that we're going to favor for some of the heaviest rain will be western parts of South Central. This is where we could see anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to nearly 3/4 of an inch of rainfall, with some of the highest totals occurring out towards Cantwell as well as Talkeetna. We'll continue to hold on to some isolated to scattered showers out towards southeast as waves of moisture move up around the area of low pressure that's in the northern Pacific Ocean. But there's that band of heavier rain that will build in throughout the day and staying with us through at least the early afternoon hours before gradually tapering off through the overnight into our Thursday. We could still see some lingering showers tomorrow, but largely expecting us to dry out outside of coastal regions. And we'll see a gradual return to at least some sunshine breaks through the afternoon Thursday with some showers likely returning as we welcome in our Friday evening on into Saturday. Again, this comes from that area of low pressure that's been meandering through the northern Pacific Ocean and eventually building back into the Gulf of Alaska. So that will lead to some additional rain showers by Friday evening on into Saturday. So again, western parts of South Central, from the valley down through parts of the Kenai. This is where we're going to favor some of the heaviest rainfall totals, where we could see anywhere from 1/4 to about 3/4 of an inch of rainfall. And again, the highest amounts likely will be out towards Talkeetna throughout the remainder of today. So temperatures will be on the cooler side. We'll likely top out in the upper 50s and the lower 60s for most locations today. Here in Anchorage, we're not going to see temperatures budge much, as we're already sitting at 63 degrees. Now, southeast, you'll see some of those isolated showers, may hold on to some sunshine breaks through the southern panhandle. Those temperatures warming into the 60s and possibly near 70 degrees. And of course, across the Kenai, we've got that rain gradually arriving. 50s and 60s. Many areas, though, will likely stay right around that 60 to 64 degree mark throughout the day. Of course, a few locations could be warmer. Kulkana coming in at 69. You can see cooler weather through the valley, about 10 degrees cooler than what we did see yesterday, with that rain building in throughout the morning. 64 in Anchorage as well as Girdwood. So again, temperatures will not budge much throughout the day. That 7-day forecast, you can see a return to some sunshine breaks through your Thursday, and then we'll watch additional rounds of rain building back in Friday into Saturday, with daily highs warming back into the mid to upper 60s.
Well, the best laid plans. Isn't that how the phrase goes?
Well, that was the situation when Tracy Sinclair went out for a garden tour here in Anchorage. Here's this week's Arctic Gardens.
So I started off with the plan of doing a story on the Anchorage Garden Club tour, but I kind of got distracted on the first garden.
I think there's 5 varieties of tomatoes growing here. There are cucumbers here.
These are the gardens and farm at Raven's Roost, a co-housing community in South Anchorage.
We built this hoop house about 4 years ago with the intent of growing warm season vegetables. There's a group of residents here. I would say there's 5 or 6 people that are involved in this aspect of things out in the farm. We actually take a week to do all the watering and weeding and harvesting when it comes. And then it passes on to somebody else, and then they're responsible for the next week.
If you're one of the people who maintains the gardens, you can eat any of the produce. But there's more than enough.
A large part of the harvest goes to common meals. So this is a co-housing place, and so 2 or 3 times a week there might be a common meal, and the cooks are free to come out here and grab the tomatoes or cucumbers or zucchini or whatever else is growing out there and use that.
These common meals often serve 25 to 30 people.
And then we give a large amount of the extra to Lutheran Social Services.
Community garden boxes fill the common space, and in front and at the back of the houses, residents have areas to plant their own gardens.
Controlled chaos, yes. I do it because I love wildflowers, and I always go look and identify all the wildflowers when I go hiking. A lot of them are volunteers. Like the foxgloves I haven't bought for a few years because they seed themselves and they come up, and the primrose seed themselves. And yeah, success is when you have plants that like it here, and then you have to pull them out because there are too many.
Behind the main garden, near a main road, there's a growing orchard with apple trees and cherry bushes. The apple trees have yet to produce, but they've got cherries on the vine.
This water comes from 600 feet away. We dug a 600-foot trench to put the water line in.
But I have to say, I mean, you say 600-foot trench, but you clearly love this.
Yes, I do. I do. Yes, I really do. It's like, oh, digging more trench and more ditches. It's good.
So I didn't make it to the other gardens on the tour, but I can't be unhappy about that. Tracy Sinclair, Alaska's news source.
For more tips for gardening in Alaska, visit our website and just click on the Art of Gardens to view all of our past stories.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.